And people ask me this kind of stuff all the time. Yeah. Like, what do I do? How do I sleep better? How do I stop stressing? And usually I find that people are not serious, meaning they want an answer, but they don't want to do the work.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, look, the best thing that anyone can do for their mental health, physical health, and performance in athletic or cognitive endeavors or creative endeavors, it's really simple.
Andrew Huberman is a professor of neurobiology at Stanford University and the owner of a popular podcast where he talks about neurobiology and how we can apply the studies and research to improve our day-to-day lives and reach the highest levels of productivity. After researching a lot of his videos, I decided to put all his advice together in this daily routine. As someone that moved away from home to a different country and is facing a lot of work and changes, I wanted to do the Huberman routine to experience the benefits he talks about and try to reach my highest levels of performance, in order to be able to face this challenging period of my life. The routine is separated in 3 phases, so let's start with the first one. The reason why we get up at this time is not only to start working early, but also for another reason that I'm going to explain later. For the moment, we are going to do the first activity of the day. I know, it's not too pleasant to drink salt water first thing in the morning, but Huberman does recommend it, since ingesting sodium will help the flow of ions into our neuronal receptors. What it means is that it will help our neurons to wake up and start working.
I am a fan of water with element. Yep. Before I had element packets, I would just take a little bit of sea salt.
After that, eat your breakfast, dress up, get ready, and let's go for a run.
When I wake up, I make a beeline for sunlight. So I'm gonna get sunlight in my eyes. Try and get some natural light in your eyes within an hour of waking up. There are still more photons, light energy, coming through that cloud cover than there are coming from artificial lights. So try and get 5 to 10 minutes without sunglasses outside in the morning. This sets in motion a huge number of different neurobiological and hormonal cascades that are good for you, reduces stress late at night, offsets cortisol, a million different things really that are good for you.
I purposely delayed taking my coffee. Usually I take it as soon as I wake up, but Huberman explains that taking coffee right after waking up can lead you to an energy crash during the afternoon.
So here's a little trick. You wake up in the morning and you didn't sleep quite as much as you would have liked. That means, and you're sleepy, that means you still have a buildup of adenosine in your system. Let's say you immediately reach for caffeine. Great, you suppress the action of that adenosine and you will be more alert. And guess what happens? Then the caffeine wears off and the adenosine binds to the receptors with greater affinity and you have your afternoon crash. So a practice that's very useful to people is to delay the intake of caffeine by 60 to 90 minutes after waking. Allow the adenosine to be cleared out, because it's not just cleared out in sleep, it's also cleared out in those kind of sleepy states of early morning.
Huberman says that the best caffeine option is to take yerba mate, but for the sake of making this routine as accessible as possible, I'm going to stick just with regular coffee.
I generally will then do some sort of physical workout. I have a very consistent routine. I've done it for 30 years where I weight train for 45 or minutes to an hour every other day. And occasionally I take an extra day off. And occasionally, due to travel or other commitments, I'll occasionally double up 2 days and then take 2 days off.
Yep.
You know, I'll do a pushing day, rest, pulling day, upper body push, up, rest, upper body pull, rest, and then legs, take 2 days off, something like that. And those workouts, the weight training workouts, are always 10 minutes or so of warm up and then no more than 40 to 50 minutes of really hard work. If I do train hard any longer, I don't recover enough to be able to come in a few days later. And when I train that way, I generally make pretty consistent progress.
The linear phase is the best time to do any kind of focus-oriented work, since it's in this moment of the day when we have the highest levels of dopamine, adrenaline, and cortisol. So it's gonna be easier to get into a deep work cycle and reach the best levels of productivity. First thing in the linear phase, taking a cold shower.
11 minutes a week, divided up into a couple sessions of 2 to 3 minutes of deliberate cold exposure. Improvements in blood lipid and insulin management profiles. And there's some other positive effects like improved mental resilience. So a lot of positive effects. The biggest effect is a big increase, 2.5x increase in dopamine that lasts for several hours. You know, it's a significant increase. You feel mentally clear, you feel alert, It increases metabolism for the reason we discussed before. And then there's the process of getting into this cold water when you didn't want to. And that is overriding limbic friction. That's that top-down control, so you build resilience.
What we want to achieve here is to reach ultradian rhythms for the maximum level of productivity.
The question I often get is, how long should I try to focus? Well, the research literature point to the key importance of so-called ultradian cycles, 90-minute ultradian cycles. So my suggestion would be, anytime you're going to sit down and try and focus, ideal duration is about 90 minutes.
Of course, Huberman recommends to put away your phone so you don't get distracted and fall into temptation. Don't worry, it's a broken phone. Also, Huberman insists that during this phase you should wait until lunch to ingest food, so you don't alter your dopamine and epinephrine levels.
Try and give yourself some time to deliberately decompress, to let your mental states idle, to not be focused on any one thing. That period of idling is essential for your ability to focus, much in the same way that rest between sets of resistance training or rest between exercise is vital to being able to focus and perform during the actual set. So take that period after each 90-minute, you're just done with it, set it down and go do something for maybe 5, 10, maybe even 30 minutes and try and deliberately decompress.
After that break, we go back to our second deep work session. By this time you are going to feel quite hungry, so I'm going to try to simplify it in only 3 tips. Try to eat few carbs, since too much can make you feel lethargic. Try to eat more starch, because starch releases serotonin. And don't forget your vegetables and fruits, since you want to have as many vitamins as possible in your diet. During the non-linear phase, our body is going to have lower adrenaline levels and higher serotonin. By this time, you earned a good break, but that doesn't mean you can go and fall asleep. What Huberman recommends is take an hour of relaxation, where you can do breathing exercises or meditation, even close your eyes, but don't fall asleep.
So non-sleep deep rest, NSDRs, it has this amazing ability to reset your energy levels and focus, whereas with meditation, many people find meditation hard, and part of the reason they find it hard is that it requires focus. NSDR is a state which is very calm and relaxing. You don't have to work too hard, you're just listening to a script.
After a well-deserved relaxing break, it's time to go back to work, but this time, a different kind of work. These deep work sessions are going to be oriented to do creative-like work or any kind of work that doesn't require high levels of concentration and demand. In my case, I decided to use this time to work on some YouTube videos. Go outside, go for a walk, and if you can, meet with people and have fun. After that, we are ready for a second round of creative work session. Here, follow the same guidelines as lunch, but this time take away all the carbs, because they cannot be burned, since we are going to go to sleep right after. Taking a moment before going to bed, analyzing what did you achieve today and what it needs to be done the next day is one of the best things that I incorporated to organize my days. And also, it saves me a lot of time, since I know already what I need to do when I wake up the next day. After that, we can move on to the last step of the day. If you woke up at 6 AM and went to receive sunlight as soon as possible, around this time your brain will automatically start to release melatonin, which is what is going to make sure you get sleepy and get some good rest. Other sleep recommendations that Huberman mentions are: keep the room as dark as possible or use a face mask. Keep your room cold instead of hot. Take a warm shower before going to bed. Avoid looking at screens before going to bed, and elevate your feet with a pillow when going to sleep to help with the blood flow. And if you did all of this, congratulations, you completed Andrew Huberman's optimal daily performance routine. Regarding this routine, I feel like the things that made the biggest effect on me were delaying taking my coffee, taking cold showers, and organizing my work between linear and non-linear. I feel that this routine has helped me to get hours of deep work without feeling too tired. My productivity has been seriously increased, as well as my energy levels. So yes, I recommend anyone who's interested to try it. So I hope you found this guide useful and you managed to find the highest levels of productivity that you are looking for. Thank you for watching.